Paranormal Karen, she's so spooky. Paranormal Karen, funny too. Paranormal Karen, she's so spooky. Oh, and did I mention she's funny too? Yeah, cha-cha-cha.
Hey everybody, welcome back to welcome to Paranormal Karen, unless you're listening to 2 episodes and I'm psychically correct. Last time I had Christopher Macklin on the podcast, I don't even know if it was out an hour before I got an email that said, have this guy on again. He's such a great guest. There's so much to talk about with him. Let me get all the credits correct, because Christopher, you run I just had it in front of me, the global, the global, oh, she spelled it
Enlightenment Project.
Enlightenment Project. That's right. Okay. Perfect. We're going to talk about the Global Enlightenment Project at globalenlightenmentproject.com and so many other things. You also are on Telegram. People should subscribe to you there. And I haven't been on Telegram. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's good actually. It's we now tape our because we have healing 3 times a week, and we tape it on there. It's so simple to use. We got a couple of strikes on YouTube, so okay, because they said the healings were medical misinformation. Oh, okay.
Yeah, YouTube is.
That's what it is.
Yeah, YouTube is doing that a lot. There's a lot of. Okay. Well, let's get to your intro. There's so much to talk about because that is part of what's going on. I think we're losing our free speech, and we have to be really careful. I will tell you this: I could talk to Christopher for hours. He is respected in the field of UFOs, ETs, the deep state. I actually said last time I wanted to have you back on about talking about remote viewing, but there's so much. I just kind of want to jump right in though, because there was a topic. I get your emails and I read all of them. I don't read anything. I read all your emails. I'm going to give a trigger warning, folks. We're talking about mass shootings, but this is something that we're going to jump right in. I can't waste any time with you. I feel like we are at the beginning of something really nefarious there, and all your stuff caught my eye. You're doing a topic of, mass shootings, what is coming in 2022, and how people can help themselves. Can you just jump right in with that?
Yeah, well, the first thing is to understand why they happen, and I think it's really important because these are mentally unstable people. Mm-hmm. I think they've been groomed. In fact, I know they've been groomed, and they go out there and they do mass shootings. Now, think about this. Why do they do it? Well, if they want to change the gun laws, the Second Amendment, then what a great way to do it. You get people just going killing people at random, especially in schools where there's no guns on site and, different places. Why don't they go to government buildings? Oh, the answer is because they're heavily armed and, they're protected. So what's happening is that these people are mentally unstable. If you're mentally unstable, your vibration's low. You've got no self-worth. You become numb. Mm-hmm. You don't have a care for life or death. You just don't care about anything, and these people are like that. Now, the other thing about it is when your vibration drops, and remember this, and I'm going to give an example in a minute, but when your vibration drops, you get entity attachments. So what do we mean by that? Well, if you look at Jesus' teachings, I'm not a Christian, but I love Jesus' teachings. He talked about demonic entities, and they're low vibration, full of souls, full of angels, where they attach to people and manipulate them. Mm-hmm. So you've got Anunnaki Draconians. They sit in the abdomen, hang on the shoulders, tap in the lower back, and they send you negative thoughts. Now, when they tap in the lower back, they destroy the L4, L5 disc. So it becomes, you get like herniated discs, and, you often think, well, hang on, this is the most strongest bone in your body. Why has everyone got herniated discs? And, that would be one of the reasons. Not all the reasons, but certainly one of them. And so they attach to you, and they send you negative thoughts like, you go around, oh, God, that was you. Oh, you're pathetic. You get all these you thoughts. You were pathetic. But people don't recognize the thought and turn it into an I thought. Oh, I must be pathetic. And they start to believe it. Now, you've also got archons. They're interdimensional beings. They float through the second, third, and fourth dimension. They have no body. they're energetic, but they attach to you. And then you've also got Luciferians. Oh, these guys are connected to the Vatican. Oh, okay. It's part of the Luciferian thing with the Vatican, and they're very snarly, these beings. They're very aggressive. When you actually remove them from people's bodies, they contort your body or speak through your voice box in a raspy voice. We do it every day. I mean, if you go to the Catholic Church, it's called exorcism. But, you know, to me, it's just like remove the things, and you need to make sure, as you're healing, of course, you say a prayer of protection. We have a prayer on the website, or a map of intent if you don't like the word prayer, because I don't like the word prayer particularly. And it keeps these things out because it puts a 27 esoteric Merkaba field, high vibrational field around you, whilst you're getting your vibration high enough. Because, you know, if you look at this world, look at how much emotion we ingest, hundreds of thousands of layers, way too much for a human being. That's everyone. That's why everyone's depressed, sick, anxiety-ridden. You know, neurochemical balance goes off, so you get ADD, ADHD, OCD, PTSD, and all those things. And, you know, it's because of the state of the world, you know, so it's a difficult place to live in. But I love it, you know, but I haven't always loved it. So back to the mass shooter. So how does that
one thing I want to throw in, but I feel like I don't even want to interrupt you because everything you're saying is just, you just did 10 podcasts in 10 minutes. It was so informative and great. The funny thing that you say that on the back, because two things. We're always familiar that when we're paranormal investigating, it's when the stomach gets upset, when you really feel like you're going to throw up because that vibration is so low. But about last year, I started to notice there is a particular wave to the spine that I can spot an attachment from the person's posture. And I called my friend and I was like, it's a particular wave to the spine that exactly what you were saying about that bone. It's very, very interesting. I can't describe it. It's not like a scoliosis. It's something very, very different, more wavy, it looks like to me. And the Luciferians and the voice, you know, those are, I almost feel like, when you're in tune, I used to live in this strange area in Los Angeles, and I swear I could see these people coming, and they were so distorted. And it wasn't like a person that's in a wheelchair or crippled or you know, I'm not handicapped. It was really, it's quite apparent sometimes, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. You can, I mean, I can see them. I'm gifted to see them. Is that a gift? I don't know. I mean, people debate that. Do you want to see them? Probably not, but that's okay. But you can remove them. But they're in the fourth dimension. They're an actual being. Here, they're a spirit, but they still do damage to the body. I mean, if you've got low vibration entity sitting in your abdomen, it's going to crash your liver. It's going to crash your adrenals if you're exhausted. It's going to paralyze the intestines from the end of the rib cage down, so it's paralyzed like 30%. As you eat, it gets further down, backs up. You absorb your nutrients. You get diverticulitis. You get leaky gut because it burns holes in the intestinal lining. So they do a lot of damage. But so, you know, relating to the mass shooters, why am I interested in this? Well, I'm going to take an example of Ted Bundy, you know, because I got interested in, not that I like him in any way, shape, or form, he's a serial killer, but I wanted to understand what drove him to chop people up and do the horrendous things he did, because that is not normal human behavior. You've got to realize it's not normal. What drives people to that? Well, I watched the documentary, and towards the end, you know, I discovered it. So there was a reporter, I think it was an English reporter, actually. But anyway, there's a reporter, and he was sitting there, and he said, it was very interesting. When I asked him in a third party, how would somebody do it? Or, you know, not you particularly, but somebody. How would somebody do this? Oh, he explained the whole thing, blah, 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 you know. But when he said, how did you do it, you know, like calling him out on it, his eyes went black and he got really aggressive. And I know from looking at the documentary, he used to tell his girlfriend that something really dark is following him. Now, to me, that's a complete possession. He had no control over his body. So when this thing attaches, they're dark as anything. They're into manipulating people, everything else. So the mass shooters, because they're mentally unstable, their vibrations low, these things attach and they drive them, and you know, they're not in control of their body particularly because they've got an entity attachment.
And you know, so Ted Bundy also, that would explain I swear, and I know that spirituality and psychic ability don't go together, but there was I think it was Anne Rice did a story on Ted Bundy, and he was so psychic. There was a place where I think he grabbed a woman, and it was literally 30 seconds between people passing in a hotel room. Like, he was so in tune. That would make perfect sense.
Oh, yeah, and they're psychic, but the problem is, I think it's like anything. These people are gifted, but they struggle with staying in this third dimensional world because they're being attacked by entities all the time. And, probably if these people get help, you can get them back to where they should be. It's like, again, my opinion, I know schizophrenics going to get really upset, but, they're psychic. They can see things. But the problem is when you can see things, the entities, the low vibrational ones, get in first and try and overtake you and attack you, talk to you, manipulate you. They hunt in packs, and once you get rid of these things, I've helped so many schizophrenic people manage these things and stop talking to the low vibrational ones, and let's get your vibration up, which means only high vibrational God beings will talk to you, and they're not there to manipulate; they're there to help you, and it's changed people's lives. So the mass shooting, but worse of it is that it's, in my opinion, again, it's my opinion, looking at the study and everything else, it's all set up, It's set up, in Texas. Why did they sit outside for 40 minutes and allow a gunman to go on the rampage in a school when the police are outside eating what? Donuts?
Yes.
And my message to you, if you were that policeman, you probably need to change your job, because if you don't have the morals to get in there and help the kids, then you need to probably go down to McDonald's and serve burgers. You have no business being a policeman.
Yes.
If someone's telling you not to go in, because I couldn't care less what the boss said. You know what? I would look after those kids because that's my instinct.
Yeah, even the parents. Stopping the parents. I don't. Yeah, that's crazy.
Handcuff it. So, was it set up? Oh, I think so, and we'll see how it plays out, because I'm positive there's going to be a massive inquiry and into that.
Yes, and there was this is not a fact. It was something that someone was talking about from one of the tapes. There was also an inference that one of the inference, is that a word, or did I make it up? An inference, maybe, that one of the police officers may have shot a child. And then they all pulled back. That was something that just sort of was not, it was actually on a somewhat of a news program, but that will be something we'll see if that comes out.
Yeah, they're setting these things up as false flags, because then people, oh my God, mass shootings. Oh, you need to take away the guns. Well, my opinion on guns is this, I think if you don't have the faith, you probably need a gun to protect yourself in this world. Yeah. But you need to use it properly. You need training. You need to have the right mental stability, so you don't just go popping a shot at somebody. It's the last resort, But if you have absolute faith, think about this. Absolute faith means that if someone's pointing a gun at you and they're squeezing the trigger, do you have the faith to shape a new reality, and or do you manifest your own death? Yeah. Now, if you manifest, oh my God, they're going to shoot me, you panic, of course, then you're manifesting your own death. If you turn to them and say, you know what, you can't touch me, full stop, there is no doubt, you have absolute faith. How many people on this planet have absolute faith? Virtually nobody. But if you say, no, you can't touch me, full stop, the universe will create a new reality, and the gun will jam, or they'll collapse, heart attack, whatever it is. But the universe would create a new reality if you had that power and that faith. Yeah. But most people don't. So they need a gun to protect themselves. And I don't have a gun because I don't need one. God's got my back,
Yeah, and I think, and also we all sort of have that final exit. So if it's that, it's that. But I took a woman's gun course once, and they taught us everything. And then the first shot out of the gun, and I was like, not for me. Not going to do it.
Yeah, it's not for me. I mean, I can't kill anybody. I can't kill, an animal. It's just me. I'm not criticizing people who go hunting. I'm not criticizing whatever you do. It's up to you. But it's just not for me, and that's okay, but I have the absolute faith, and, am I a coward? I don't know. I don't think I am. I think I'm a warrior, because I can hold the space. And, when you're infinitely protected from, until God says, you know what, you've done your stuff on the planet, time to go. But you'll go in your grace. Well, you won't go from somebody killing you. So,
yeah, we hope.
Very interesting.
Yes. You know, and there's other things. It's very interesting too, because you are right about false flags and stuff like that. And it's an interesting thing because conspiracy theories now, like a lot of conspiracy theories are turning out to be facts, and nobody wants to say that, although there is an array of a lot of them. And this was another thing I saw, which was about the shooter in Syracuse. And I saw the tape of this, which is he shot the security guard. He drove 200 miles or so hard to shoot a bunch of people and the security guard. And the security guard had been on the local news, I think within that month. He had made an engine that ran on water. And there's a real news clip of him talking about it. And,
yeah, I saw that, yeah.
You know, then you go, well, wait a minute. Why would someone drive 200 miles to shoot that guy?
Well, they wouldn't, unless they're getting paid for it because, we don't like what you're doing because you're going to ruin the oil industry. So I saw that clip, actually, and you're right, people get taken out for all sorts of things. And it's really sad because what a great invention, it could help us. But instead, they take it out because they want you to go to the Green New Deal. I mean, the Green New Deal, what's that? Well, we're going to mine 700 tons of lithium, 700 tons of material to get lithium for one battery. And then we're going to charge it up using what? Oh, coal-fired or, whatever fired, gas-fired power stations. So are you getting a Green New Deal? Not really. It's just a joke, So,
yeah.
So, it's not working. And in fact, if everyone had a electric car, you'd have no surface of the planet left because 700 tons for one battery is huge, So it doesn't make sense, Sometimes you have to take a step back and think about it. What's this Green New Deal then? Because not looking very green from where I'm sitting,
Well, that's the whole, I'm not going to get political because I'm so frustrated with all of it. I feel like I'm a revolutionary. I'm like, everyone has to go. I feel like we're so corrupt right now, whether it's our food or water.
Oh, yeah.
Or, it's, I don't know. In fact, and I'm going to take a break right now, but when we come back, I want to ask you about, you have the attachments, and is this sort of a government? Is the government programming these people? So let's take a break and we will be right back with that question. Hey, everybody. I wanted to tell you about the $5 level I added to my Patreon. Starting in July, I'm going to be doing exclusive Paranormal Karen content there. It's going to be 1 to 2 episodes a month. It'll be a little different than here. Most of the episodes will be me talking about what I'm looking into or what I'm investigating or what is fascinating to me. I'm also going to be doing a series called What's Going On in Utica. When I moved here, I had no idea what a paranormal hotspot this was. People started telling me about the hauntings in their homes, and I was shocked. I have never heard stories like this, and I've been doing this about 30 years. Historically, this area is fascinating, with everything from the Underground Railroad to horrible Civil War battles to even the mob moving in at one point. And I'm also going to be covering a lot of true crime out here. I have never done that, but the stories out here, the unsolved murders, are so crazy. This place makes Los Angeles look like a kid's playground. So go to Patreon.com/Rontowski and you can sign up for the $5 Paranormal Karen level, or you can sign up for some extra tarot stuff while you're there. All right, back to the show.
Bless your heart. It's so great to be with you.
It's so great to talk to you.
It's such a joy.
What was that?
Oh, bless you.
Oh,
I said it's such a joy.
Oh.
Now stop it.
Thank you. I hit record, so that's making it to the air. So, well, I just, I love talking to you and digging deep into these subjects. So, do you think that is just the attachment, or the attachment allows these people to be programmed?
Well, there's Project Mockingbird, which is through the press. You spew out some blah, blah, blah. Let's call it blah, 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 because it sounds better than other stuff. And they spew out blah, blah, and then people are mocking it and relaying it back. Give you an example. I phoned my father up 2 weeks ago, and he said, "Oh, my God, look at the crisis." I said, "What's that now?" Global warming. I said, "Oh, okay. I thought the world was cooling off, but never mind. What's causing it?" He goes, "Well, cows passing wind."
Oh.
I said, "So cows farting is creating global warming?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Where did you get that from?" "Oh, the BBC told me." "Oh, okay." So I said, "Well, I made something up." I said, Well, in America, Dad, what they're doing is they're giving the cows tum-tums to settle their stomachs so they don't start farting, and global warming's over. He goes, wow, are they? I said, no. Who knows?
It's just another piece of information.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, and that is Project Mockingbird, mocking being the exact word. And I don't judge him. I mean, he gets all his information from BBC. I don't know what to tell you, but that's okay. But, and then there's the Montauk programming, which is programming mind control. And, I've dealt with a lot of people with mind control. It's really deep. And what they're doing is they're just programming. They groom them. They break the soul down. This is Illuminati fallout children, for want of a better word, where, when they've been through all this from the age of 4, they start raping them. They do all this horrible stuff. I don't want to repeat it on the air because I'm sure you don't want to know, but it brings tears to your eyes, let me tell you. And, I've had people at the age of 16 or 20 left, the family, their bloodline families, and we've got them back to where they should be, but it takes some work, It's not a quick fix because, what they're doing is breaking your soul so you've got no net worth whatsoever. You take you completely down, then build you up in a different way by programming the mind to trigger. And one lady, we flew into Branson because they were showing me, the Melchizedek beings, that she would be triggered by something in a newspaper. If you have a string of words together, you can go do some crazy thing because it triggers you. And so she came in, I took the programming away, and she was good to go. But this is real, The deep state, the 3-letter agencies, a lot of them are all involved. And I'm not saying all the 3-letter agencies are corrupt, but but most of them are, and they're rotten to the core. They really are.
Yes, and for folks that aren't conspiracy, or I don't even know if that's a bad word, but I can. There's also that mass confusion they make, where they kind of like QAnon. You sort of take half truth and half, and then you put a label on it, and then you say all those people are crazy, all those QAnon people are crazy, and even what you were saying about the kids and stuff, and then Jeffrey Epstein comes up. And nobody really looks into that. And it's even interesting that only one person has actually gone to jail from the Jeffrey Epstein thing. And it's like that whole, it's the muddling of the information is, I think, that's one of the tools, like you were saying, mocking, like, let's give them a little truth and then a lot of crazy and tell them, well, just forget all of it. Is that how they do it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, they're into reptilian energy. The thing is about reptilian energy, and this is on channels that, you get addicted to. Reptilian energy is really addictive, whether it's pornography or whether it's truth-seeking, whatever, and you get 3 truths and 1 huge lie. So, for example, when people are channeling, and, channelers listen to this, you've got to clear yourself, because if not, if you're talking to a reptilian, you get a couple of amazing pieces of information, like, oh, yeah, your dad's here, and he said this and that. Wow, that's amazing. And then, oh, Uncle Freddie's here, he wants to tell you blah, blah, blah. And then you'll get one massive lie. Oh, what they're saying is you should go to France and you should buy that pink house with red doors and a green roof. And you go, oh, okay. And because they've told you a lie, of course, they're setting the intent. You'll fly to France, or most people will, and they'll find that house. Somebody's painted the house, and they'll go, I found it, and they'll buy it. Oh, my God, she was so right. And what they've done is they've manipulated you off your divine path. And that's really important. So, the biggest thing I think people could do right now is go with your intuition. Does this feel right? Like you said, conspiracy theories are becoming fact. There's no conspiracy. I mean, my father thinks I'm nuts. And he said, you're barking mad. I said, wow, Dad, that's the biggest compliment you've ever given me in my life. Woo, thanks. Let's celebrate. Yeah, because I'm barking mad, according to people out there. But to my perspective, I'm normal because I can see things and people don't. And I think, one of the biggest traumas I think people get is when they really wake up and realize, wow, hang on a minute, there must be something that's not manipulated. And I often sit back and think, now let me think, that'd be nothing. Everything's manipulated.
Yes.
Water, air, hospitals, governmental system. And, you're right, I'm not into politics at all. They're both, all parties are rotten. They've got rotten people who are interested in money, child trafficking, interested in adrenochrome taking. Hollywood, rotten to the core. all the other things, Disney, all these things, they're all at it, and people are starting to wake up thinking, you know what, I'm not going to put my money in there. Oh, the shares started plummeting,
Mm-hmm.
But reptilian energy is really addictive, and people get addicted to it so much that they struggle to get out of it. It really is. It's amazing.
And I love what you said, because as I work, I read tarot cards and stuff, but you always have to check your gut on what someone is telling you. And I have a question on the channeling that you were talking about, because as everyone knows, I repeat myself a lot, but I was brought into sort of the paranormal metaphysical by my mentor, Tommy, who worked with the darkest. In other words, he was worked for good. He helping people that had dark. So he has always taught me sort of from a defensive space, like always, it's not like rush right in or it's all love and light. He has always taught me from a cautious space. And I still value his opinion on just about everything. But there is channeling where I feel like, which I am not interested at all, where someone else comes into your body. I want nothing to do with that. And sometimes it's channeling information, but right now it's getting a little dangerous out there. And I'm watching, sometimes I think some people that have been doing this fine for a while, I'm like, ooh, I think something's getting a little more powerful. Something darker is getting powerful. You just repeat for us.
In.
Yes, and that's why you have to be on your toes all the time. You have to, like, I have a system of where I surrender my ego and really just ask for I call it God consciousness guides to help me. Doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect or right, but I think you said you had a prayer or something. Tell people again where they can look for that to, if they're doing any channeling or cleansing.
Well, there's a multitude of prayers on the website. Have a look at the prayer bit, or maps of intent if you don't like the word prayer, because people, think it's very Christian-based. It's got a ton of them. It's got protection prayers. It's got psychic attack prayers. If you get attacked, you can say the prayer, and if it doesn't go away, say it 3 times. If it doesn't go away, say it in total 9 times. It will go away after 9 times. These things are pretty powerful. But these prayers are there to help you because it's important to clear the channel. Mm-hmm. And I think you're right. I think a lot of when people have been doing channeling and spiritual work for a while, they get too comfortable with themselves. The ego kicks in. I know what I'm doing, and suddenly the things start going south. And hang on, I'm not resonating with this at all. Yeah. And if you don't resonate, then something's wrong. If you're not feeling it and you're good, it's the same with truth seeking. There's a big battle with I'm the biggest and whatever. There are good truth-seeking channels. There's not so good ones. And what you've got to do is go again with your intuition. Is this good for me? If it's not, don't watch it. And, it's like with me. If you think this is all power and nonsense, that's okay. But, I see a very interesting... I step back from life. I'm not in the matrix. I live out completely outside of it. And therefore... because I keep my vibration high with the trees. We're building a house in 42 acres, which is completely trees. It's complete forest. And when I go down there, all the anxiety, it just feels, trees are so amazing in absorbing anxiety from people. It's just amazing. Yeah. I'd really encourage people to get back to nature, because Mother Nature and our beautiful earth, bless her heart, she's had to put up with all this nonsense going on the surface. But yeah. The toxicity and everything else, I don't know why she does it, but she must love us dearly, But I think nature is really important to get reconnected to again.
I just saw a thing about how putting cactuses near your Wi-Fi, or cactus and aloe are very good at absorbing 5G and that kind of radiation. Oh, yeah. And it's funny because I had to leave LA, but one of the interesting things is I heard someone talking about LA and New York are not only just 5G heavy, they're broadcast. So there's a big radiation thing. And now I'm up in upstate New York and my hair is growing back. The hair that was falling out or was very short and would break off suddenly started growing back. And I thought, that's a very interesting effect on the body.
Well, it is because, 5G, I don't even know, but when you apply 5G to the body, it's the cells start to detox too quickly, and you can get altitude sickness, you can get eczema, because what happens is your liver drops in vibration. It struggles to cope with the amount of of toxins, your heart rate goes up, and then the body, because it's got nowhere else to put the toxins, because the liver can't cope with them all, it dumps it in toxins in fat cells underneath the skin. So that's why hair falls out. A lot of people are finding hair falling out. I've seen a lot. Or that's why you get eczema, or gets even worse, like, so, the skin starts actually peeling off because of the toxicity in the fat cells under the skin. So absolutely, it really affects your health. And as soon as you get away from all this, you feel great. I mean, we don't have 5G in Branson, thank goodness, yet, but I'm sure we'll get it. But, you're right, and, there's various stones and crystals and, certainly aloe and, like you say, cactus is instruments there to absorb this energy so you don't feel it as much, and I think this is really important.
Yeah. And also, I'm jumping back. I'm going backwards, but I think I probably pushed the conversation the other way. I just did a predictions episode with a bunch of astrologers and psychics, and everybody is pointing towards the fall, sort of September, October, November. Where do you think this sort of mass shooting thing is going? I don't think it's going to let up.
No, I don't think so. I think there's going to be a bit of rioting going on. They're paying out. I mean, Soros is backing all these Antifa people to get out there and do whatever. And there's so much manipulation. It's just untrue. And, my advice to people is just stay out of it. Staying close to your home. I mean, we don't even like going out for food anymore because vaccinated people become transmissional frequencies. They become 5G towers. So, when I go out for like a beer, which may go out later on, I can stand it for about 40 minutes and I'm done. Time to go home. So we really do stay out of the world. And I think, it's important. You say, well, that's isolating, but you can find fun things to do at home. Do some nice cooking, make yourself a beautiful meal, have a glass of wine, if you like music, put the music on, rock the house, have a dance around because it moves the energy. If you love playing the guitar or singing, do that, whatever your gift is, do that. I mean, I love this gift. I absolutely love it. I don't know if you can tell, but I love it. I love doing this work, and I love seeing the difference in people, So many of our clients just say, I just want to thank you for all the work you've done all the time, and I think especially now, people, 3 or 4 years ago, you got a job, thank you, but people saying thank you for all you're doing, not just the healings, but everything, because it's a lot of work, and people have no idea, and I love it, but it is a lot of work, and, it's helping people keep balanced. You've got to find some balance in your life. Do your spiritual practice with yoga, if it's Pilates, whatever it is, or, just meditation. People say, well, how do I meditate? Let your mind go. Oh, that's a difficult one because people really struggle with that now, and I learned a long time ago how to let my mind go. I could just lie there, let your mind go, and then you'll find that your starseed family will start to talk to you, but you've got to allow them to speak, if you've got the monkey balance, oh, hang on, I've got to go shop. Oh, I've got to go get a bit. I've got to meet, then if you've got 100-mile-an-hour mind, you're not going to get the information. But if you completely relax, let your mind go and almost get into a semi-paralytic state where you just, wow, I feel so relaxed. They'll come in and they'll start talking to you. And it's incredible. I think that's what keeps me going. Because I spent, and it's interesting because I've been looking at my life. I spent a lot of years not finding love. My father's crabby old shit. He's 87 now. He's narcissistic, passive-aggressive, and abused us when we were childhood. My mother was always ill because, of course, all the, she ingested all the emotion and she was always ill, so she wasn't around very much. And then, I got married the first time, didn't get me. And then now I found Mandy. I found the love that I've been missing. But, and also my father-in-law, Don, who passed a year ago, God bless him. He was an integral part of our life as well. He was an Actorian and he held the space for us. We really miss him. So he was our person. So I think, I learned over those periods of time until, recently that the only people I could really rely on or trust is the Melchizedek beings, because other people are out to manipulate, they're narcissistic, passive-aggressive, whatever they are. And so, I really learned to really focus on the Melchizedek beings, talk to them, and they give you truthful answers. They're there 24/7. They're never going away. They're, beings you can rely on. And you guys have got your beings, like your Palladian, Arcturian, Lemurian, Avatarian, Andromedan, Series A, Series B. You can talk to your people, and they're there for you 24/7. They are your guides, and I think that's an important point.
And I also think the more you keep that channel open, or the more you do it, the more you hear them. And it's been, my habit has been in my morning papers that I really get, when I write in the morning, I really get it, but it doesn't mean that I do hear it outside. You know what I mean? Like I'll hear something.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really, really clear that it's them. And sometimes it's very subtle that it's just a decision I made at the last second. It turned out to be right. But sometimes, and I talked about this when my dog got sick, he was 18, he came here, and he got, all of a sudden, he was he couldn't go to the bathroom or something. Very clearly, I heard a voice in my head say, he has a blockage. It's time to, put him down. And sure enough, I got to the vet was like, he has a blockage. It's time to put him down. So that information does come. And what you're talking about too, like when people come to see you, there's a huge movement right now. And I think the lockdown did this to people, which it's too bad it took that to do it. But like, are you happy? What are you doing? Do you want to do this job? And I feel like we're in a continuation of that right now, where everyone's sort of waiting, or in that, like, is this it? Instead of kind of, deciding, this was going to make me happy. I wanted to be I don't care, circus performer, psychologist, whatever you want to be, and just go do it. Like, I'm even examining that in my own life. Like, I'm like, wow, I am working too much. I have to cut this down. But when people go to see you, probably literally where they are, with no, whatever, Facebook or, 5G or all that, I don't think people understand how calming that can be to the system.
Oh, yeah, it's really damaging. And of course, the distraction, you've got all this like truth-seeking stuff, and people get addicted to it. And it lowers the vibration, We know it's all bad out there, And like you say, I'm not interested in politics whatsoever. I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat. I'm not interested because it's all rotten to the core anyway. Politics, you never win anyway. I'm interested in people who care about humanity. I don't like the word white hat, but they call them white hats. But people who really care about humanity. And there's a ton of them. And they're out there doing stuff, And we're connected with some of them. Like with the Pyramid Project, that's huge, So
yeah, let's
there's a lot of people.
Let's talk about the Pyramid Project after the break. But you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. You don't think the world's like full of satanic and it's rotten to the core. I mean, yes, there's elements that are rotten to the core, but not all of us. There's some very beautiful people who are putting their life on the line for people in America, including myself. I mean, if you have infinite faith, you're not going to get touched. But as soon as you go, oh my God, they're going to come and get me, they'll come and get you. So you've got to get away from that and just step out with faith and just talk about things naturally. And if someone doesn't like it, well, I don't know what to tell you. But, you can think it's conspiracy. But like you say, all these conspiracy theories are now actually reality. Yeah. And the conspiracy actually the opposite, what they're telling you in the governmental systems at the moment,
Yeah, and that's interesting. It's funny when you say white hats, because I feel like every word or title gets twisted. Like, I don't know that people know that when someone was thought to be woke, it meant they learned they've been lied to. They've been lied to,
Exactly, yeah.
And now that kind of has turned into somebody that it's turned into something else. And so, and I don't want to criticize, but even white hats, like that it's very hard to get labels because somebody always makes it something it wasn't. But I want to hear about the Pyramid Project. Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
This upcoming event is not affiliated with, however, is supported by Just a Ring.
Now, back to your regularly scheduled alien programming.
Hey, Clark, have you heard about this alien school field trip, August 12th to 14th this summer?
Oh, Twiddle, did you forget we're taking the ship to Starstruck Farm in Lebanon, Tennessee?
Yeah, and did you hear about all the places to stay? There's triangle houses, in-horse stall hotels, and twig homes, or you can just pitch a tent.
Yes, there'll be food accommodations, restful spaces, and a weekend of spiritual fun.
Oh, I know! Like the show with Karen, and music, and energy exchanges, and bonfires, and classes, and just rolling around in the grass with all my alien friends.
Don't forget the Supermoon event.
I'm gonna buy so many souvenirs from the market they're having.
Just imagine the vibration we're all gonna leave behind with the blessing of the land.
I know, I'm so excited for all the dimensions to be in one place.
Well, we need as much of the collective to go as possible, so more of us beings can tag along.
Get your human vessel over
Book your lodging and tickets now.
Okay, so and we were talking about this off as we took the break, but tell me more about the deep state. That's a really interesting. I just love. That's a weird term, but I just love this conversation.
Yeah, well, it's cabal, deep state, Illuminati, whatever you want to call it. Masonic Lodge, it's all the same. It's all rotten to the core. You know, it's part of the same thing. You know, the Masonic Lodge is one of the biggest organizations in the world. And then the people above that are Bohemian Grove, world leaders, and at the top is all the bankers, you know, the people with the money. So if you get in there, you sell your soul, you know, you do a blood ritual, and then you get as much money as you want. And I'm not into that. Like, I'm not selling my soul to anybody. I'm a sovereign being, and we're all sovereign beings. So what does it mean by the deep state? It's interesting because I'm going to bring my father very quickly up. So he was talking about the current administration. I said, oh, well, you know, the problem with the current administration, Dad, is they talk... He said, well, that's very rude. President Biden's got Alzheimer's. I said, hang on to that thought a second. So he's got Alzheimer's, he's got mental issues, and he can press a nuclear button anytime he wants. Is that a good thing? Oh, my gosh, yeah, I never realized. How are you kidding? You know, it's not. And I wasn't being rude. I was just saying, like, it's all drivel, you know. Yeah. And after, you know, the Republican Party, it's got deep state. Every party has. And that's why I really focus on the people who care about humanity, who care about families, who want to get, you know, things back to, you know, patriots who care about. I care about this country. I'm an American citizen. I don't want this country to go the way it's going. It's going pretty south.
Yeah.
But I think there's going to be a transition very soon. How south do you take it? So the deep state, you know, corrupt politicians, you know, puppet masters, whatever you want to call them, they're taking it down. And, of course, the white hat people, or I don't like the word, of course, but, you know, people who care about humanity are really making moves. They're playing probably chess, 7,000 to 8,000 moves, and that's why you can't predict. But I feel like something's coming pretty quickly. Because, in my opinion, they can only take it to a certain level. And when it comes to a precipice where if you take it too low, it's going to be very difficult to recover. For example, they've burnt down over 200 processing meat plants in America. The biggest egg plant in America that supplies eggs, and the farms all burnt down. Then you're cancelling the company in Hong Kong who owns the biggest meat farm for pigs in America is shutting it down. So hang on a minute, why is all this happening? Oh, they obviously want to mess with the food chain. So, but how far do you take it? And the answer is, I don't know. That's obviously in their court because they're here to take it down. My opinion is we're here to build it back up after. We're the people who are going to help build it back up in a different place and do some teaching and help people through it all because it's going to be quite a transition. So it's just important.
Yes, and you know a couple of things. There's, I don't think people understand what the petrodollar is and what is happening is, you know, and just really snapshot people. You can look this up, but the petrodollar is where the U.S. economy was sort of built on, where whoever bought oil had to pay with the U.S. dollar, and that is now changing. Saudi Arabia is taking money from China and Chinese money. So that's one of those things that you're not hearing that anywhere. Or is it too, you know, news stations, either they don't want you to hear or they think it's too complicated. And people get their YouTube channels shut down over information like this. And the other thing is real estate. These big companies that are buying up all this real estate, we're not going to get that back. Do you know what I like? Am I on the right track there? Like they're buying up big portions of land and we'll never be able to buy houses. We'll be renters our whole life.
Exactly. But what's interesting is that, you know, I remember Trump before he left office, he actually wrote, you know, he got a bill passed, which basically says that anyone is found treasonous or against the government or whatever, they can confiscate every single penny they have, all the real estate and everything. So, I mean, all that will come crashing down. But, you know, but like I say, I'm not into politics. I'm just interested in people who care about humanity, and they're doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Yeah. We're getting in contact with some of these people and, you know, hope to have a meeting with, you know, President Trump maybe in the next 6 weeks. Who knows? Yeah, they asked, is security team asked for my passport and everything else. So, but, you know, do I follow politics? No. I'm interested in patriot people who care about people and the country, not about all the blah, blah, blah going on, because it's just nonsense, you know, so.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any of them, but I think everybody, you know, a broken clock is right twice a day. I feel like anyway.
Yeah, well, people might get really upset. So why the heck are you going to see Trump? The answer is this. We're doing a pyramid project. It's 100,000 acres. It's going to cost about $200 billion, of which the money's being assembled as we speak. It's not there yet. But it is being assembled by top banking people who are, you know, care about humanity, don't like the word by heart. And it's moving forward. But, you know, if he comes back into power as somebody else, you need the administration to be comfortable with what you're doing. So I wanted to explain it to him because I think it's important. So, you know the pyramid project, it's off-planet pyramid. So they're being built for humanity. And they're going to be here probably the next year or two, you know.
Oh, that's good to hear. I really feel I'm really ready for, our astrology of the United States is the same as it was in 1776. And it's like, it's been apexing to this point, which is November. And I find that so interesting. Really, really strange opinion on somebody said this, and I thought it resonated exactly with me, which was, everyone has their opinion about January 6th, and we're throwing these out there, so I don't get offended anybody, or don't, or maybe this is turn it off, come back next week. But I felt like somebody's, I can't remember. I wish I could give credit to the person that said it this way. January 6th looked like something was happening, and then it was almost as if a director walked in and said, cut, and it stopped. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like it was,
yeah,
I don't know what it was supposed to be, and I don't know who was supposed to win or if those people were supposed to lose or whatever, but it felt like it had this momentum, and everyone was watching it on TV, and nothing was happening, and the police weren't coming in, and the local police weren't coming in, and nobody was helping, and then it all just stopped, and I was like, what? It just seemed very curious. Do you have any opinion on that?
I think it was a setup, and Pelosi didn't even want the National Guard because it looks bad, and she was offered it. And so you're kind of thinking, why wouldn't you want them there? Why would you allow people? If with that amount of crowd, you need somebody to help. Otherwise, people can do what they like. And 5 or 10 policemen around or whatever, we're letting people in anyway. So what's that about? And the answer is, I think it's just a setup. Like the mass shootings. It's all a setup to create a new narrative that's false. It's all false flags.
Well, I think
it's just what it is.
Yeah, that's definitely what I feel like about. And I used to be a real participator. I used to go to all the anti-war protests and all the, what I believed in. And I feel like I'm not there anymore. And I hate to say this, and people are going to get mad, but the pro-life, pro-choice argument is going to make politicians billions. And that's why it will never be solved, or they will never pass a bill, either one or the other, because that is your people will just give to the person on their side. And I just can't be in that game anymore.
No, I think you've got to stay neutral. And I think, like I say, politics not for me, because it doesn't matter what decision. If you become the president, whatever you do, you're going to get laughed at or, berated, or it doesn't matter what you do, because politics, there's no right or wrong answer. It depends on the party. But certainly what's happening now is this is something different. This is a takedown by the deep state of the economy, trying to, like you say, put people in rental accommodation. You own nothing, you'll be happy. Well, that's not happening in the United States because we have the Constitution. But they're trying, They're not going to win. So.
Yes. I love what you said, that in politics there's no right or wrong. That's brilliant. And I also have found, since I sort of kind of retired to the outside, I feel like I can get along and talk to everybody. Like, I feel like I can see these people's side and I can see these people's side. But when I was sort of in it, I felt you can get offended so fast, or those aren't my people, kind of. And I feel
if you detach, it doesn't matter. To me, my main journey is to help the people of America and throughout the world get out of the grips of this, deep state system that's trying to, it's Nazis basically, and it's like with Putin, if you look at the war over there, people, has he done us a favor? Well, is he a monster? My father thinks he's a monster. I think he's done us a favor because he's taken 46 biolabs down. He's found the children, the child trafficking. He's got the deep state coffers. He sees them. So, what's the deep state coffers? It's all linked to our current administration. So, are they good people? Probably not, but I mean, that's up to you guys to decide. I don't think they're good people. And, what's happening now is the economy in trouble. Oh, big time. I mean, when the petrodollar changed in 1974 from gold-backed currency, everything was, everything was going up everything was going up. Houses, everything else. So everyone felt good and inflation was manageable. But now it's in trouble. There's no stopping it. There's nothing you can do. Even if you increase interest rates, it's not going to snuff out the inflation. It's just got out of control. And they don't. The funny thing is, it makes me laugh. They don't know what to do with it. They say, "Well, inflation's good." No, it's not. Oh, let's blame Putin. No, let's blame whoever they can, China, somebody else. But let's not blame us because it's actually us. I mean, if you shut off pipelines right now, straight away, of course you've got gasoline. Gasoline is going to be scarce, and it is scarce because we were energy independent. So, we've been shown all that, and now we're showing. The good thing about it is we're being shown this is not how to do it at all. And so I think people have got to come together and support in the voting ballots. And vote the right people in if there is any right people. But I think there is. I think there's people who really care about humanity and want to change it, and it's going to happen. What I see in the future actually is more settlements. Goes back to the more Native American type thing with the chief and maybe in charge of a state, and then you got settlements within that. And I think it'll be very different in the future. I see a very, very different.
Yeah, I hope so. People are all talking about their own communities and buying land, just like you're talking about.
Well, the other thing about it is that, we've all been totally dependent on shopping, Amazon, and going to Walmart. And I mean, the stuff is awful anyway. It's been, if you buy a pepper, it's been in the warehouse for about, 10 weeks or whatever. It's almost dead by the time you get it. And I think it's encouraging people now because of the scarcity of food, which is going to get scarce, and I would really recommend people stock up. I think, it's getting us back to let's get a couple of greenhouses and grow our own stuff, because it's going to be fresh. You pick it off the plant, it's fresh right there, and it's got all the nutrients. If you get out of Walmart's, factories and things, it's probably got no nutrients worth talking of at all when it's like 8 or 10 weeks old, and they look wilted. You look at peppers; they've got wilted skin, and it's just not looking so good. But I think it's going to get us back to growing our own food and the joy of that.
Yes, and if you're a city dweller, they are coming up with vertical indoor gardens with lights and stuff like that. I'm looking into that right now. Right now, they're a little bit expensive, but I texted my friend and I was like, how do we make this? How do I get this in my house? Because I think you're right on that. And also, even in England, which I believe their food is much cleaner than here. I mean, I know... It is actually, yeah. Yeah, we just got so distorted with mass production of food here, or I don't know, it's very funny. I watched a TikTok the other day and the woman said, I was a victim of vegan propaganda. And first of all, the word victim, I'm out. I can't listen that you, and she goes into all this stuff of how she was programmed, and I just felt like, you know what, this is where we all just need to critically think what works and what works for us and how do we feel, because everything is just, I don't know, I like what you said so much about we have to vote in these good people. Do you think when good people get in office, there's a chance for them? This is why I kind of feel like we need to turn the system over. I always say I'm a peaceful revolutionary, but I feel like people get in there with good intentions and then the system just crushes them.
No, I think the system is going to fall apart, big time.
Good.
And I think, what I see happening, again, can I tell you a time? No. When you play chess 8,000 moves ahead, the time is changing every probably few minutes because they put something in place, then the deep state puts something else in place, and But I can see a time when the military step in and take them all out, because I think enough's enough. But it has to get a bit worse yet, because you've got to take people outside the box. When there's no food on the shelves in, supermarkets and things like this, the store, then, that really does take people outside the box. Like, wow, I relied on the store, and it's going to help people actually transition from relying on the store to growing your own stuff. And I think that's really good, and I think bartering may come back and buying local from local farmers, looking after them instead of having the government, paying farmers to mass produce stuff. It'll all go back to the area you're in, and I think that's a great thing. I really do. It'll build communities like you'd never believe. We've lost our way somewhere. We rely on Facebook for communities, people over the world, and great. But, there's nothing like the local people in your own community to look after. And we do that, with the ministry. I employ local people, the IT guy, the accountants, whatever, and we look after them. They look after us. That's what it's all about.
And that's such a perfect segue right here, because I think I said this on my prediction show, and whether you enjoyed this episode, people, or whether something made you angry or whatever, everybody is talking about building their own community. And for some of us, that's not really an easy thing to do, but you are in a community. Talk to your neighbors, talk to the ones you disagree with, but build a community and just be the person that is sort of bringing people together. Because whether you agree or disagree, I agree. I'm with you, Chris. I think we're going to have to be working together. Know your local mayor, know your local councilman, because I think when we start at that level, then we really can do this smoother.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're in Hollister. We know the mayor. We know the city administrator. We know all the people on, aldermen. And they give their, and again, we treat them sometimes. When they come down, they've just had a meeting. We'll buy their dinner. Why is that? Because you know what? These people are putting their time in and effort. Yeah. I don't have the time to do it. So how can you support them? Oh, just treat them to dinner, all of them. We take care of their bill, and it's not a lot of money, maybe a couple $100, but you know what? That goes a long way to people. Wow, someone actually cares and someone honors us for the work we put in, and that's important. Get to know your mayor. We love our mayor. He's just amazing.
Yeah, and just a last thing, I see these little things happening that make me very nervous about free speech. That's just part of, even you said you had a little trouble at YouTube, and I find some of the best real news is on YouTube, and I watch channels get taken down, and anybody that's not with the narrative is disappearing. But that's why I kind of like the internet, because people are popping up left and right. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. And there's Rumble, there's Telegram. They don't, censor much. In fact, they don't censor at all. And I think, I think you're right. I mean, free speech is starting to disappear, but what we've got to do is walk with our feet. Don't put your money in. If you believe in Disney's narratives and everything, then it's great. But if you don't go there. Because don't support these companies. So, if Google is starting to stop your free speech, you can't even do a healing session, a spiritual healing session. Oh, well, that's false. It's false information. What are you on about? It's just gone way too far. So I just walk with my feet. We've got 259,000 people who follow us on Facebook. And I was really kind of concerned over the last month or two. Like, you put a post out, you get 1,200 people seeing it and 8 loves or likes. Hang on a minute. This is not making sense. What's going on? Yeah. And what's going on is called shadow banning. They don't tell you they're banning you, but they ban you with algorithms. So, it doesn't, your information doesn't get out. And that started in the last, 2 months. So I'm kind of done with Facebook as well. I mean, I post stuff on it, but so what, I think, walk away from them all. They're all kind of rotten to the core. And I think go with platforms that don't censor you, like Rumble, like Telegram, like Truth for Social. That's doesn't censor you either. So, I think that's a good thing to do. Transition. It's time for us all to transition. If we all walked away, these guys would just collapse under their own weight, So walk with your feet, Pay your attention to channels that aren't going to censor you and start doing it, It's important.
And it's always good to double check, because I know I was a big fan of DuckDuckGo, and then they suddenly were like, well, we probably shouldn't let all the information out. And I was like, what happened there? There was something strange that happened. And there's other ones now. But, it's always great talking to you, Christopher. Tell everybody where to find you, where to get your prayers or whatever they need from you.
Yeah. I mean, go to globalenlightenmentproject.com. And we do healings. I do one-to-one sessions. I do specialized groups up to 20 people on it. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. One-to-ones Monday, Tuesday. And then we do a generic group, which covers a lot of things, 3 times a week. Monday, 9 a.m. Central Time. It's a generalized healing. It's for an hour. Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Time. And Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Time. You can join those. And I always ask for a donation, but if you can't afford anything, just come on them. I always tell people, look, don't shame yourself. I've been there. I've had absolutely no money for food. I know what it's like. So never shame yourself. Just come on, because it's all about, we're helping people to get back to your sovereign self. The day the guru's gone, you are your own guru, and it's my opinion. It's my job to help people get back to that sovereignty, get rid of the emotion, get the vibration up where they're leaping out of bed in the morning going, oh my God, I feel incredible. And I see it all the time. Even in this time, and this time's tough, but, people get passionate about what they're doing and they just focus on their gifts and find out what your gift is. Everyone's got a God gift. If you start doing that, well, I'm going to make money out of it. Look, 20 years ago, I had a reading. I said, well, you're going to go to America, you're going to work for God, and you live off donations. What? Nah, you're kidding. No. Oh, look, right. So, believe these things. You never know what time, but, if you really believe it and you surrender and you do God's work, how do you think, I managed to live? The ministry is quite big. We have 10 staff. We have a lot of things going on. It costs several $100,000 to run this ministry. It's not a small enterprise. Yeah. And yet we always have enough. God's always got your back.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Well, always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend. I'm going to download the Telegraph app as soon as we get off. And yes, thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, thanks, Karen. Thanks for having me. Bless your heart. Yay. It's wonderful to be here.
Keep up the
Love
good
you
work.
all.
Love you. Thanks
Bless your heart.
to Mike at Uno Rising Media and everybody. We'll see you next week. Don't forget about my Patreon /Rontowski. And you all have a great day or evening or whatever's happening.
Paranormal Karen. She's a spooky kind of queen. Paranormal Karen. She's an angel without wings. Comedian, ghost hunter, conscious exploring. She's a funny gal and a real woo pal. She's Paranormal Karen.